Big Dave, CHGO Bulls.
Bow.
That's me. He said bow. Welcome in, y'all. Guess what? NBA tip-off is going on tonight, but the Bulls tip-off one more day, and we cannot wait. On this show, guess what? Season awards predictions will be handed out. Who's going to be Goon of the Night? Who's going to win Goon of the Year? Who's going to be MVP of the Bulls? We don't know. Eastern Conference tiers, we'll dive into that. Plus, Michael Jordan returns to the NBA on NBC. Come talk about it with us while Joey punches you very nicely. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. CHGO Bulls is now on your airwaves, in your eye holes, and in your ears as well. Welcome in. Thank y'all for joining us because we are presented by Michelob Ultra and Bet365. The delicious taste of victory deserves something equally superior. Cheer on your team with Michelob Ultra and download the Bet365 app and use the code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with Bet365. Big Dave.
Bow.
BAWL Sports. That is Will the Go Gottlieb. You can follow him at Will_Gottlieb. On the ones and twos is the main man, Joey C. I was like Joey C.
Hey, YouTube, technologically sound back here, but Hoops is back. Everything's fine.
Pew, pew, pew.
Hoops is back.
We got it back, baby.
Hoops are back.
That's right. We had to restart, get it together, but we are back, and we are thanking y'all for being
Honestly, we've
here.
been doing this show for like 3.5, 4 years, and that's never happened before. I feel like that's a pretty good run.
Well, it hasn't happened when you've been here.
Oh, okay.
It's definitely happened. You know what I mean? I remember when this happened before.
It's Halloween. It's a Halloween
Listen,
thing.
It's all.
Oh, it was last week. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yes. So maybe, congratulations to this being your first one.
I guess so. Yeah.
man.
Here we are.
How's it feel? How's your first one?
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. you know.
You know.
We are one day away, GOAT. One day away from Bulls basketball. And I can't wait to get into it and talk more about it. So because of that, we're going to have our Bulls season awards predictions. That is going to happen. Also, Eastern Conference tiers. We're going to dive into who we think is going to be in the tier 1, 2, and 3 in the Eastern Conference. And also, Michael Jordan is returning. He's coming back. But first, let's talk about the NBA tipping off. Before I even get into Mike, man, NBA is tipping off tonight. This is my favorite time of year. I cannot wait to go sit on my couch, turn on my television, and watch 2 amazing games, watch 4 really, really awesome teams play. And it's the NBA on NBC. They have returned. So all of that is feeling good and all that is looking good. GOAT, these are really just 4 great teams. You got the Rockets. They'll be playing the Thunder at OKC. And the Warriors will be traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Lakers. Let's talk about that Rockets and Thunder first. Thunder will be raising that banner into the rafters. Congratulations to them for winning the NBA title. But the Rockets, man, revamped in a big way. When they've got Kevin Garnett, he'll be playing the 2, which is just fun to say. I can't wait to sit and watch this game, man. What are you looking forward to?
It's going to be a great game. I mean, you got like the old guard tonight and the new guard. Obviously, the Thunder, the champions, a young team. I think they were the youngest team in the league last year, and obviously won the championship. And then you've got the upstart Rockets who just bring in KD. But that Rockets team, I mean, they've just got so many awesome players.
Yes.
Amen Thompson, Reed Shepherd, and then you add in Kevin Durant. Şengün is there. They're going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be a handful. And they're starting with Steven Adams, Şengün, and KD out there. KD at the 2. I think Jabari is starting at the 3.
Okay.
And then Amen Thompson. So, like, everybody there is just 7 feet tall, which is a lot of fun to watch.
Yes.
And then you have the Thunder, who obviously without Jalen Williams tonight, he's dealing with the wrist injury that he was struggling with even through the finals, but they're just so deep and they're so talented. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander coming off the year he had. You've got Chet Holmgren. Can he step into a bigger role? Mm-hmm. So many young guys, so many players with potential. and just an unbeatable defense. I mean, they're just so good on that end. And then, the later game, you've got Steph, you've got obviously no LeBron, which is a tough break. You always want to see a LeBron game, especially on opening night. But the Warriors have, I think the way that they ended their season after Jimmy Butler got traded there, and then obviously losing to the the Timberwolves, they lost to.
Yes.
After Steph got hurt. I mean, they just looked so good. Those injuries notwithstanding, I think they're going to be really good this year. And then Luka and his first full season with the Lakers, that's going to be an awesome clash. We're going to see how they look and what they're able to do without LeBron. So really fun night of basketball. I can't wait. And then obviously Bulls tomorrow in their season opener.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, I'm giddy, man. Like, this is like Christmas Eve to me, and I'm getting still some awesome gifts on Christmas Eve. Like, that's what it feels like. But yeah, you're right about that Rockets and Thunder, man. Like, I have the Thunder repeating and winning it all. And watching what they do, though, tonight against the Rockets is going to tell me a lot because they are going to be formidable. Those, as you already know, Houston is going to be a problem, man. Like, it's not just the fact that Kevin Durant is going to be at the 2. It's the fact that he could be at the 2, the 3, or the 4 whenever they feel like during the season. You can do what you want with him. He also re-signed with them, so he's going to be there for a couple years. Congratulations to him on that as well. So, yeah, it's just going to be really fun to sit and watch. And I like the fact that OKC is getting this love, as they deservedly so. And as I mentioned on the last show, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder, man. Like, people don't believe in the championship that they won. They were like, nope, Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. You guys are about to lose. So now they've got something to prove out there. So interested to watch that. The Warriors and Lakers, I mean, just watching, two grandpas going at it. Who can still get down? You know what I mean? Grandpa can still dance really well on that dance floor and work out a bunch of those old young guys out there on the dance floor. They can outlast a bunch of people doing the Watusi and the Charleston, however they want to roll. But they are doing their thing out there, Joey C. I can't wait to watch it.
They're like in that, whatever, that Nespresso commercial or whatever, like Sims Bobes, yeah.
That's
like,
it.
They're always dancing. Old people are always dancing.
That's true, man. Feeling good. And they rocking it for hours. And I can't wait to watch it, man. But, man, Steph Curry, you can't say enough about just how great that young man has been. And then combining it, as you mentioned, with Jimmy Butler, he kind of changed just how they played. We saw Buddy Hield talk about it recently in an interview, just the change that Jimmy Butler gave to that team, the calm that he gives to that team, and how much he loves playing with them. So, yeah, I think it's going to be great. Al Horford being there is going to be great. But
poor Brandon Pajemski is the only one under 35 in their whole starting lineup.
Man, he don't know what they talk about when they talk about music and movies. He's looking like, yeah, okay, great. He don't know what's going on. But the Lakers, man, like, I know LeBron isn't there, but Slim Luka is there. And I want to see what Luka is going to do because he's got stuff to prove, too. I think he's a dark horse for MVP out there as well. Obviously, it's going to depend on the wins and things, man, but I'm expecting a lot of that young man.
So for Warriors-Lakers tonight, like marquee matchup, right? And we all know that if we flipped on ESPN after the game, one of them's going to bring in some sort of weird hot take of like, whoever wins that game, they're going to be like, are they going to take the next step?
Yeah.
Which team do you think, if they play well tonight, Warriors or Lakers, might provide more fool's gold than actual tangible, this team is going to be good this year?
Lakers.
I think I go Warriors just because LeBron's not playing. Like, it's hard to be when you still don't have. I mean, obviously Luka's the main guy right now, but like when you don't have one of the main guys, it's hard to get too excited. But maybe they beat the Warriors by like 20, and you're like, oh my god, this team's going to be insane. Imagine once they get LeBron back, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, if the Warriors won by 25, or here come the Warriors, or if the Lakers won by 25, it'd be like, they don't need LeBron. Like,
everybody jump to conclusions as soon as one game is played.
What's ESPN more likely going to be talking about tonight with that game? Because that's chum in the water for
I think
definitely
the
LeBron
first game,
and
too, is really interesting with that because, like, can the Rockets be a contender? Is, like, Amen Thompson's going to break out and be, the most improved, or is KD still got it enough where he can be like the primary scoring option on a team that really needed it? Or the Thunder, can they repeat? Can they be the first team since the Warriors, right, to repeat in the finals? It's been 7 years. So just a fun night of hoops.
Yeah, can't wait to watch it, man. And what's going to make it even more fun is something I alluded to earlier, ladies and gentlemen, the return of the GOAT. Now, not that GOAT right there, even though he is awesome, the GOAT. Michael Jeffrey Jordan returning to the NBA on NBC. He will have a halftime segment, and it seems like he'll be going as the season goes along. He'll be doing it with Mike Tirico tonight. It is entitled MJ Insights to Excellence, which just sounds like the greatest TED Talk in the world, and I would be there for that. I mean, the picture that I saw of where he'll be doing the interviews from just looked like, he's going full supervillain, and they were in the room trying to discuss how to take out James Bond. It looked amazing, and I was really excited, and I can't wait to see what this is. And as I said to you, Goat, like, this is his first foray into social media, being around in the NBA, quote unquote. But being around with social media is key about what he's doing. So there'll be critiques on him every single night and dealing with stuff a lot of the players are going to have to. And I'm sure he's going to be getting a lot of interesting comments on social media. But I'm curious to see how it's taken and how it goes, man. What are you looking forward to in this?
Yeah, it's just such an interesting thing because he obviously owned a team. But aside from that, and even really with that, he was never in the public space since he retired, basically.
Yes, correct.
The final time. And so anytime you have an opportunity to like pick the brain of the greatest to ever do it, whatever arena we're talking about, like it's just invaluable. And it's like Tom Brady going into the broadcast booth. Like maybe he's not the best broadcaster, like there's guys that you prefer, but you cannot deny the experience that he has, the perspective that he has. And so I think there's like, from Michael's perspective, I think there's like only downside. He kind of lives in this, he's perfect, he's untouchable because he's kind of like out of the public sphere. Coming back into it, there's risk with that because he could say stuff that people disagree with. Maybe his perspective on the game has been passed by. I don't really know what it will look like. I'm just kind of thinking out different outcomes here, but I certainly cannot wait to just hear what he has to say about his thoughts on the way the game is played today.
Yeah, man. And the questions, I'm really interested in what Tirico is going to ask him. I'm sure he's not going to press him too hard, but I'm sure he's going to ask him, some questions that we really do want to know the answer to about how he's looking at the game.
Hopefully their relationship gets to a point where he can press him on stuff.
Boom.
And I think that's going to take some time, obviously, build a level of trust there. But I just think that kind of perspective, it's like when Mind the Game came out, the LeBron podcast. It's like you're not getting this kind of analysis from one of the greatest to ever play. You're just not getting it. Right. So this is just an incredibly unique opportunity and experience for us as viewers.
Yeah, and I'm definitely looking forward to, hopefully Ahmad Rashad does this with safety. He'll be watching from a tree branch outside the window as Tirico and MJ talk. I think the cool part, the thing that I want to see as the season goes on, is I think the low-hanging fruit is people are ready for MJ to fire on people in the NBA or the current state of the NBA or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I'm sure that will happen, and we'll deal with it as it comes. The one part that I'm really interested in is I want to see who in the league he puts his arm around. And maybe, when MJ talks, people listen, right?
Yeah,
so he has an opportunity to anoint any player that he wants to and speak highly of, whether it's Jokic or whether maybe it's more of a backcourt guy like SGA.
Modest,
sure, whatever.
Zealous.
But I'm saying even like the smallest compliment, I would magnify in a level. I would times it by 15 if it was MJ, because him liking a player. Now, granted, Kwame Brown's aside, right? But I think he has an opportunity. He has an opportunity to not only criticize, but he's an opportunity to build up the league and anoint. And I'm curious to see who he picks out throughout the course of the season.
I am very curious to hear his Bulls takes. That's what I want to hear.
Do the Bulls have a game on?
They do have one game on
we'll
Peacock.
See.
They have one game on Peacock. And I want to hear it. And I want to know if he's asked about Scottie Pippen. Maybe there's a Scottie Pippen question slid in there by Mike Tirico. I don't know. We'll see.
He's got a sheet that just says words that cannot be uttered. Scotty, Jerry, either Jerry.
Get this out of my face. He just tears it and sends him away. Before we go to break, I do want to talk about the 2025-26 NBA City Edition jerseys. Y'all know I enjoy wearing this stuff. So the jerseys, the Bulls have unveiled their City Edition jerseys. Joey, do you have that for the folks?
Sure do.
So they can take a look at it real quick. There they are right there, ladies and gentlemen, unveiled yesterday from the Chicago Bulls Twitter page, or X for the people who say that. And there it is. And I, hands down, for me, this is just me talking, the first two things I said was, this is Matt and my favorite jersey. And Matt, he confirmed that with me that, yes, he loves these jerseys because of the script. And I love the blue. Second, these are their best City Edition jerseys.
They are sick. They are awesome.
Period.
Awesome.
Period. Travis is correct. Them things are clean. You hear me? Those things are amazing. I can't wait to see them out there on the floor. I wish the Bulls changed the floor with those things, with that, but that's neither here nor there. But, GOAT, I love, love, love these jerseys.
They're perfect. No notes. Let's go to an ad break.
Perfect. No notes. They're amazing. I can't wait to see them on the shelves. I'm curious to see what else comes with it, because when they do this, they do other merchandise with that, a couple of hoodies, a couple of hats, things like that. I'll be looking for all that stuff because that's my kind of thing. But looks very cool. Congratulations to them for looking very cool in that. We'll see when they'll be wearing those and what the team will look like when they are. When we come back, because we're going to take a little break. When we come back, Eastern Conference tiers, y'all. We're going to dive into it. All of us, including our guy Matt Peck, have thoughts. Check it out after the ads. You could be good. That's fine. Everybody likes being good. You could be great. That's better than good. That's a cool thing. But what you need to be, ladies and gentlemen, is ultra. Ultra is the way to go. Be ultra magnetic. And the only way you can do that is with the awesome, refreshing taste of an icy cold Michelob Ultra. Once it hits your lips, oh my God, cheer on your team with the Michelob Ultra. Why is it Ultra, Dave? I'm so glad you asked me. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. It's a superior, smooth taste worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, it is also the official American beer sponsor of the Chicago Bulls. Shout out. The superior game meets the superior taste. So grab that frosty cold Michelob Ultra superior light beer as you cheer on your favorite team. It's the Bears, and it's the Bulls, and it's the Blackhawks, and it's the Cubs. All teams we cover. Wow, that's awesome. No matter what you're playing for, make it superior with Michelob Ultra.
Whatever the moment, Big Dave, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. You want a football early payout offer? They've got one for NFL and for college football with Bet365 early payout offer. You're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winner. You want 100% parlay boost?
I do.
They got that for you too.
What?
Double your winnings on parlays with Bet365's 100% parlay boost. You can sign up and use code CHGO365. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Man. Bonus bets can be used for spreads, totals, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app.
Back rolling live with y'all, CHGO Bulls, Will the Go Gottlieb, Big Dave, Joey C on the controls. And right now, might feel a little frigid in here. So you know what we got to do? We're going to have to take the tip. Taking a tip is what we're about to do now. Taking a tip like a Michael McDonald. That's how I roll, man. And you take the tip with 4 seasons, heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Make sure you get yourself right for that wintertime, y'all, for all those right reasons. Call 866-4-SEASONS and heat up 4 Seasons Heating, Cooling.com. Oh, Eastern Conference tiers. You know what? I was gonna say go first, but I'm gonna go first on this one.
It's your show.
I'm gonna go first on this one because I just kind of want to get mine out the way. I'm more curious about yours than I am about mine, obviously, because I wrote it. But we broke them down into tiers, into 3 tiers. I did it in the tiers of playoffs, play-in, and who's going to be on the outside of that. So let's start with tier 1, Joey C, of who I've got up there. As you can see, I got the Cavs. I got the Knicks. I hate them. I got the Orlando Magic, the Detroit Pistons at 4, the Hawks at 5, and the Celtics at 6. And I have this, that's the one I wrestled with, was the Celtics at 6. Because I had other teams up there. I was like, man, maybe Milwaukee can do that. Maybe Indiana could sneak in there as well. But it's just something about the way that the Celtics are kind of built, man. Like, I understand that, yeah, they can take it, they can tank, and they can do it that way. I think there's too much talent there. And I think of how it is in the East, it's too easy for them to fall kind of into wins because of the way that they play and the talent that they have. I think Anthony Simons is going to have a really good year, health depending for sure. I hope he continues to stay healthy. But I think Jaylen Brown, man, also having that super green light is going to be helpful for them as well. Peyton Pritchard, with how he plays and what he does. I think, and I love Joe Mazzulla. I love the coach of their team, man. I think the way that they're made up it doesn't feel like they're made up to not win. It feels like they're made up to actually put in the effort to try to win. Now, obviously, if it doesn't start off well, or if it goes wrong, or if it goes bad, they'll pull back on it. I get that. That makes all the sense in the world. But as I'm looking at it right now, just how it looks to me on paper, I just think the Celtics could be in that 6th seed. I think it'll be close, but I think the Celtics are good enough to be that team that could be in that 6th seed.
I don't hate it. I am a little bit lower on them than you. I did not have them in my tier 1. My tier 1 was a little bit smaller. I will say when we decided to do this exercise, the exercise being send Joey our tiers so that he can make a graphic. I sent him 6 tiers, and he said,
sounds right.
"I need 3." I said, "Okay, let me go back to the drawing board." Originally, I had in my tier 1 just 1 team.
Okay,
I did expand it to 4. And those teams are the Cavs, the Knicks, the Magic, and the Hawks. To me, those are the top 4. I believe that's the same as what you had.
I didn't have the Hawks. I had Detroit 4.
Oh, you had Detroit 4. Okay.
But you had Pistons Hawks round 1, and I was like, sign me up.
Yeah, can't wait to see that, right?
Sign me up.
I'm curious, dude. You only had, I'm assuming the Cavs. You only had the Cavs as tier 1 and not the New York Knickerbockers in there?
So to me, and the way, again, for our purposes here, I did have them as the top 4 because I feel like those were the 4 that were like clear top 4 seeds to me. But if I was breaking it down into as many tiers as I possibly could have wanted, and I got to do 6 tiers, then I would have just had Cavs number 1 because to me, they're the class of the East. I don't think anybody comes close to them.
Agreed.
I think they're a 60-win team. I don't think anybody else is really above 52, 53.
Okay.
And so that gap there to me felt like it was fair to put them in their own category.
All right.
I do feel like the Knicks, the Magic, and the Hawks are going to be top 4 seeds. I'm confident in them, and I feel more confident in them than some of these other teams who I have more serious questions about. The Knicks, I think, obviously, they are going to be – it just came out that they're missing Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart for their opener. That's a blow.
It is.
I think they are probably not going to go as all out during the regular season just without Tibbs, but I still think that they're an incredibly talented team. Hopefully, they're able to figure out better ways to use Karl Towns so that he can be more of an offensive driver than just relying so much on Jalen Brunson, who's obviously incredible. But I think that's like better for their long-term health. The Magic we've talked a lot about. The Desmond Bane trade, I think, is huge for them. I think he's the kind of player that can really help elevate everybody around him. He's a good defender. He's a great floor spacer. He can also create offense. They're way deeper now. We'll see what happens with Jalen Suggs. He's already on the shelf, I believe. It's possible that he could be back by the time the Bulls play the Magic in their second game of the season. But obviously an incredibly impactful defensive player and three-point shooter. And then the Hawks, I think they just had an incredible offseason, not only getting better now, but also loading up for what should be a really strong draft class next season. I think, another year of Risa, hopefully a full season with Jalen Johnson. Dyson Daniels is back on a big contract now. They bring in Porzingis. They've got Onyeka Okongwu, who had quietly a really strong finish to last season. I think they are a legit top 4 team in the East. I don't know if I would necessarily put them in that same category as the Knicks. If I was breaking it down into even more tiers, but I think if we're just doing 3, I felt pretty comfortable as those being my top 4 seeds. And so I felt like they were in one tier by themselves.
I think that's fair. I think I went with Detroit over Atlanta because I feel like Atlanta is kind of always that team that is kind of hovering, and we just don't know how it is until the ball rolls out there and they kind of play. So it's hard to predict. On paper, yes, everything you're saying is correct, but I'm worried, like, is Porzingis going to be healthy out there? Will Risa take that actual jump? Will Trae Young pout? You know what I mean? Like, all those things I kind of worry about, but I love the way they're made up because they understand the problems that they have defensively with a guy like Trae Young, and so they kind of build a team around that to say, no, we're going to take that away.
Dyson Daniels. Let me get Risa.
You know what I'm saying?
Nikhil Alexander,
exactly,
Walker, Jalen Johnson,
exactly.
Porzingis. I mean, they've just got
we're going to take care of all
really
of that.
Good infrastructure.
Yeah,
totally
very,
agree.
very smart and really intelligently built. But Detroit, I just liked because the hunger that team has, man. I think after they got that taste in those playoffs last year and just how deep that series went and how awesome it was with the Knicks, like, I feel they just got a taste and a bitter taste in their mouth. They like the fact that, they got to bite from the apple, but they're like, no, it's bitter now because we want more of this. We should be better.
Yeah, when it comes to the Pistons, I mean, this is what they've been working towards, right? This is why you tank, why you collect assets, why you take on bad contracts like Blake Griffin's deal, right? To eventually put yourself in a position to have this core and maybe make a run at from the playoff perspective. Just want to give a shout out for posterity. We got to do Matt Peck's cheers too as well.
Okay,
our man is
I'm
down.
Call it out for you.
Our man is down.
Matt Peck.
Our man is down.
Shout out to him. He
hand down.
He's day to day.
And all of his hats on Thunder. But again, not too dissimilar from what you guys had. He has Cavs 1, Magic 2, Knicks 3. He's got that 4-5 matchup in the first round, Pistons and Hawks, and then Celtics coming in at number 6.
And I appreciate my guy again. Me and him sharing a brain. You know what I mean? Together, having the same exact top 6 right there. That is how we share a brain out here together. But I'm like that he feels that way about the Celtics. But go to your top 4 teams right there. Just looking at Cleveland, looking at New York. Talk to me about Orlando, though, because I feel like Orlando could be a team that kind of elevates a little bit over the Knicks, and I wouldn't be surprised or shocked at it just by the pieces that they kind of have. And also, like, I kind of was going to put, like, Jamal Posey for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Like, he could be up there for that kind of thing, man. So talk to me about Orlando and how you kind of feel about them.
I believe they were the number 1 defense last year, and they had Franz miss a ton of games and Paolo miss a ton of games, both with oblique injuries. Yeah. Jalen Suggs went down. They were still the 7th seed. They still won out of the play-in, and they had like the worst three-point shooting in the league. So I think Bane really helps you there, and like with that extra floor spacing, it's not just he can hit some more threes and that like boost their offensive rating. It's how does that dynamic change the geometry of the floor every single possession down the court to where Paolo's got more space in the mid-range to operate, to where Franz has those extra, second of defender not being able to get back to the ball because you can't leave Desmond Bane, and that gives up the driving lane. Now you're getting more fouls. Now you're finishing at the rim more. And maybe just there is some good energy in terms of three-point shot making and that being able to go from Bane to some of these other players with good ball movement. So I'm really optimistic about them. I think they're an elite defensive team. I think they've got one of the best young cores in the league. And I also think that you've got 2 guys that really could ascend into not just like all-star, but all NBA caliber players. So the upside there for sure is super high. I still have some questions about how much shooting they have and how much they need. Wendell's been up and down in his career at the center spot. They don't really have like a clear long-term option there. Maybe they go small. Maybe they try to get as much defense on the floor as possible, and they just bludgeon teams the way that they have the last couple of years. But I think when you have guys like Franz and Paolo who are true, like I could be the A1 option on a conference finals team, maybe even a finals team. I think that just gives you a ceiling that I'm very excited about for them.
Yeah, they're another team that continues to get bites at the apple because of the talent that are on their team. And when I say that, I mean it's how far they go in the playoffs. Health is going to be a big thing for them for sure. But, I mean, I don't think you can say that about every team, that is going to be a big thing for them. But I just wouldn't be surprised if Orlando moved up to that number 2 for the reason you just said, and that's that defense. Like, that defense that they got is super duper serious, man. They are playing no games out there. So I love the fact that they brought in Bane, because we watched them last year shut down a bunch of teams, but they would still struggle or lose games in that fourth quarter because nobody could really score for them. Like 1 or 2 guys can kind of score for them. So when Paolo went out, you saw them struggle immediately. Like, oh, man, our shooter's not out there. Our one-on-one guy isn't there. And then Wagner, goes, and they just have all kinds of issues in that way. With a guy like Desmond Bane, it's a guy who is also, for me, kind of like the best of both worlds kind of guy, because he can create for himself, but he's also catch and shoot at the same time. And that's great to have on a team like that, a guy who gives you options like that. And he's not going to be your number 1, which is what they didn't bring him in for, but he could definitely step up to be a number 2. He's obviously, they want him to be the 3, but if you got to be number 2 and you got to have a guy score 30 that day, and you got to body somebody on the defensive end as well, I mean, you got the right guy right there for a guy like Desmond Bane, and you paid him very well for it. So
yeah, one of the best third options in the league, right? Yeah. I mean, a guy who, and they're never going to have to like have just one of these guys in the court at all times. They're going to always be able to have 2 of these guys, and that's just going to help them raise their offensive floor throughout games. Obviously, you want everything to click when you've got your stars out there together, but can they get to a point where they're not losing anything? There's no slippage when guys are sitting or guys are on the bench, or if they do experience more injuries. So I'm just very high on them as a group, both in terms of their floor and their ceiling.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take another break right here. When we come back, we will dive into the other tiers. Where do the Chicago Bulls land on the tiers, and will there be actual tiers because of the tiers that we think that they will be on? You figure that one out right there, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to read some ads. Hit the like button. Joey C., if you please. Everybody pause. Don't move. Because right now, I'm going to punch you right in the thirst. Because you deserve it. You deserve to be punched in the thirst. There's only one thing that's going to allow you to do that, y'all, and that is RC Cola. Oh, it is so delicious. It is so amazing. It is the true taste of Chicago. It's the original cola that does not, and I repeat, it does not fold under pressure. RC Cola is an OG cola in a world full of spineless soft drinks. Open that fridge. Get out of my fridge of spineless soft drinks. Can't stand you. There are no trends, there are no gimmicks, there are no woozies, and for the love of the GOAT, there are no wazies at all. They have not changed their stripes since 1905. Why? Because they ain't got to. They've been awesome that long, ladies and gentlemen. That same bold, crisp flavor that it has always been. RC Cola is like a punch in the thirst. So stock up on all your end of summer parties, back to school celebrations, or you're just watching the game. RC is the move for whatever you're doing because it's RC Cola, the true taste of Chicago.
Today's episode brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Dave, you and I make decisions every day.
All the time.
But what kind of a decision is the best one? The kind that can get you paid. Don't miss on any of the excitement. NBA is back tonight. We got 2 awesome games before the Bulls kick off their season tomorrow, and Prize Picks is the place to be because they make it simple to play. You pick more than or less than on at least 2 player stats, and if your prize picks are right, then you cash in. And how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, you can choose Flex Play, where you can even get paid if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, you can go for the Power Play. No matter how, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. You can play tonight. We've got 2 awesome games, Lakers, Warriors, and Rockets, Thunder, some of the best teams in the Western Conference. And you've got yourself a little Prize Picks parlay. Join millions of users to sign up for America's #1 fantasy sports app. Download the app today, use code CHGO, and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Rolling along with y'all, man. CHGO Bulls podcast. Hit that like button and keep those comments coming. We definitely seen them all. Shout out French Bulls fans. Shout out to Believer, our guy Paul, who was always rolling with us. My man Fish, sales guy Jim. He's always peeking his head in here as well. Flip side, always good to see you. That is Will the Go Gottlieb. I am Big Dave.
Bam.
Joey C on the controls.
Bam.
How about we step into tier 2? Now, I told you where I had the teams that were going to be going to the playoffs. So let's find out who I feel is going to the play-in. If you would, please, Joey C. And there it is, tier 2 for me. I got the Milwaukee Bucks at 7, the Indiana Pacers at 8, the Toronto Raptors at 9, and your Chicago Bulls at the 10th spot. Oh, man, this one was harder to put together for me than the top tier of those playoff teams. The Bucks, I just kept saying they got Giannis. Like, I kept looking at the team, and I'm like, yeah, but they don't have – it was just like, dude, they got Giannis. They got Giannis. That changes every single thing, every single night on the floor is they have Giannis. And I'm like, I could see them finishing 8 as well, but 7 or 8 is kind of why I have them. I really believe in the Indiana Pacers. Like, you know, from last year, I talked ad nauseum about them. Even when they got to the playoffs, I was up here talking ad nauseum about how nobody believes in them. Why is anybody talking about them? I don't see them losing. They end up in the NBA Finals and 1 game away from winning it all. I don't think that changes that kind of mentality. I think that just added to the hunger for them to kind of prove, you know, like, hey, man, we can be a good basketball team even without Tyrese, even without Miles Turner out there on the floor. When we talked about them not maybe tanking, you know, maybe not going for it like that, the coaching that they have will not allow that. That is not how they are going to roll, man. So having Carlisle and having the ball-headed menace, like, there's no way that that team is going to be trying to tank. They are going to be physical, and they are going to be solid every single game. So you know you're going to get defensively from them. I think on the other end, the good thing about them having so many guards is even though you don't have the elite one there, you still can run your offense. They have several guards on their team who can absolutely run the offense, and you still got the Nat TJ McConnell out there, causing havoc and being an issue and a problem for him. So I still like the Indiana Pacers, man. I think that they'll be solid. The Toronto Raptors is just because of the length of the Raptors. It's the same thing you talked about with the Houston Rockets, who having all 7-footers out there. Like, they're all literal Raptors out there, and they're healthy coming into the season. And then if you just look and see you forget Brandon Ingram is on that team. He's there. Brandon Ingram is a problem. So I think that they'll be solid. I really do. I think that they'll be fun to watch. I almost put the Miami Heat there at number 9 as well. I'm not going to be surprised if they jump up into that. But our beloved, the Chicago Bulls, I had them at 10th, and I struggled with this. I absolutely struggled with this because I'm not going to be surprised, in my opinion, if they come in at number 11. But I feel like number 10 is kind of right what fits in with the Bulls and how they're going about it this season. They've got guys that are good enough to get to that point, in my opinion. So I don't know if they have guys good enough to get above that from the teams that I mentioned, but I think they're good enough to compete. And they're going to be fun. I've said this a million times. They're going to be fun, man. That offense is going to be fun to watch. Defensively is where the problem is going to lie for me with the squad. And the fact that they're starting off the season with the injuries that, they're dealing with Kobe White being out, please get better soon, Kobe. And with Zach Collins being out, please get better soon, Zach Collins. With those things happening right now and the teams that they have to play, like the Detroit Pistons, like the Orlando Magic, like you got to play the Knicks twice, like it could be a interesting start for the Bulls, and we'll see if they're able to recover from that. But defensively, they're going to, have problems. I think Modest is going to ball. I think he's going to do his thing. I think Giddey is going to ball. I think he's going to do his thing. But outside of that, GOAT, I'm concerned about the defense of this team, and defense is how you kind of win. The offense will win you games for sure, but the defense is kind of how you win out here.
Yeah, I think a lot of good points in there. I can just get right into my tier 2, which is just an absolute mess.
Shield your eyes. TVMA for this.
Shield your eyes, children.
So the way I was thinking about this is like,
eyes.
And surprise here, teams 13, 14. There's a typo there, Joey. Pacers are 13.
I can't count.
Throwing off my math. Teams 13, 14, and 15, I think, are in the tanking tier. They're tier of their own. And then top 4 seed, to me, we're in a tier of their own. This is probably like 2 or maybe in 3 tiers if you break it up. But I just kind of threw them all together because I really do think, like, could the Pacers end 12th? Sure. Could they also end 5th? I think that's possible too.
Yeah.
And really, for any combination of these teams, I think it could work out that way. But I'll just give you the quick rundown. For me, it came down to what you just said about the Bucks. They have Giannis, and I'm not going to count Giannis to, like, I'm not going to predict him to miss 15. It's just like, I think he's going to play. They've got really good shooting around him. Yeah. They've got an elite rim protector next to him who can also shoot. And I think that recipe is just going to generate a ton of wins in the regular season. And I think Giannis is going to be in for a huge statistical year. I agree. The Raptors are maybe a little slept on right now. I think they're going to be a really good defensive team. They have Brandon Ingram there to help raise their floor offensively. And I think they've got a lot of room for internal development with guys like Scotty Barnes. Quickly, I think, had a really rough year last year. Can he stay healthy? Grady Dick, Jacoby Walter. They've just got so many players that I think can step up. And I think they're going to be going for it a little bit harder than they did last year when they put on the most masterful tankathon that I've ever seen in my life. Here's where one of our biggest differences, I think, is the Pistons. I'm a little bit lower.
I see.
I think Malik Beasley had an incredible year for them, and I think Dennis Schroeder had an incredible year for them. Both those guys, not with the team. They didn't really replace either. Duncan Robinson obviously comes in. He can give you some of that shooting. But I think, like, they really took off. Part of me is like, could you look at the way that they finished last year and extrapolate over the full season? Maybe they're a 50-win team. Or without Schroeder, without Malik Beasley, who really generated a ton of offense, might they take a little bit of a step back? I still think they'll be a really good team. I just don't know if they'll have quite the same. I mean, Malik Beasley was just like he had like one of the best 3-point shooting seasons of all time last year.
He really did.
So I'm a little bit lower on them. I think the Heat are just going to be the Heat right there in the middle. I think they're more talented than we probably think just because of where they finished last year. But basically, aside from that 10-game losing streak, they're a 45-win team, or at least, 42, 43. And that coincided with like Jimmy Butler's meltdown and him not wanting to go. So I think they're going to be more consistent. Obviously, losing Hero hurts, but I think Norman Powell will step up. I think Khalil Ware will get better, and I think Bam Adebayo is going to have a bounce back year. He was not great last year. I had the Bulls at 9th.
Okay.
I've been planning this out for a while, and I don't know how much the Kobe injury I really factored in with this. Probably not much, even though I do think that that's going to hurt them.
Yeah.
But I just think that they're a team that's going to run through the tape. They're going to take it through the whole season. I think they're going to try their best to win every single game. Draft pick, lottery odds status be damned. And that just kind of is who they are. Like, I'm not going to make that mistake again of thinking that they are a team that's going to maybe like sell off or not, run through the finish line. I think they're just going to go for it. Whereas these final 3 teams in the conference, the Celtics, the 76ers, and the Pacers, I think there is some potential for them to, maybe not tank per se, but maybe sell off some pieces. Maybe they run into some injury stuff with Embiid. I know he's playing now, but I just can't get on board with him being healthy for 65, 70 games this year. The Celtics are missing guys. Their starting center rotation is, Xavier Tillman and Neemias Queta and Chris Boucher. It's like they're not really in a spot to compete at the highest level. I think they will get under the tax by dumping somebody like a Sam Hauser or a bigger trade like Anthony Simons, Derek White, or even Jaylen Brown. And I think that they're going to just take this as a gap year, get under the tax, and come back next year, hopefully with a high draft pick and Jason Tatum returning.
So it's not the talent, it's the money more so.
It's the money and the incentives. And that's why I say the Pacers too. They've got their pick this year. They are obviously missing their 2 most important players from last year, the guy who anchors their defense and protects the rim and allows them to play a physical, aggressive style where you do have that safety valve in the back, which they don't have anymore. And then their offensive identity in Halliburton. I just think it's going to be really hard to overcome. You're asking a lot from Andrew Nembhard. And will that mean that he has to sacrifice something defensively? You're putting more responsibility in Benedict Mathurin, and I'm not sure he's really driving like high level efficient offense. So I think they're going to take a step back, and I think they're going to realize midway through the season, look, we're not getting Halliburton back. We don't have an option at center here. We do have our draft pick. Let's pack it in. We know we're going to be able to bounce back next year. And I think that's kind of the incentive structure that you're seeing with a handful of these teams, the Celtics, the 76ers, and the Pacers.
I kind of got to see that though, man, because just that coaching staff, nothing about them says we're taking a step back. It just feels like that's a team that's going to try to go for it and, try to do their best at that. Let's take a look at main man Matt Peck's tier 2 and see where they're at. He's got the Milwaukee Bucks, the Indiana Pacers, the Miami Heat, and your Chicago Bulls. Once again, Matt and I are kind of in lockstep with this outside of the Heat at being at number 9, which I said also that I could see them being at number 9. We pretty much have the same list. That's my main man right there. So how do you feel about this one though, Goat? Like having the Bucks, Pacers, Heat, and the Bulls. Are people sleeping on the Heat?
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think they're just a really solid team that doesn't really ever get too low. They may not get too high in the regular season, but I just think, again, any of these teams in this middle for me could finish anywhere, and it wouldn't really surprise me. I just think with the way that some of these teams are incentivized this year, you might see some teams that you're accustomed to seeing at the top of the East take a bit of a step back. They're not going to be able to get all the way into the tank race, but they don't necessarily need to. I mean, if they get like the 7th pick or something, you add that to the Celtics team or to this Pacers team going into next year with Tyrese Halliburton back or with Jason Tatum back, and I think that really reinvigorates the franchise in a way that is probably more worth it than getting swept or losing in 5 games in the first round.
Yeah, and for all y'all saying Matt's negative, he got the Bulls 10 in the play-in, ladies and gentlemen. He's got them in there. Shout out to him for that. All right, let's get to the final tier, man. Let's get to tier 3. Let's get to the tier that I got going on for tier Trey, ladies and gents. If you could show that, please, main man Joey C. As you can see, I have the Heat, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Charlotte Hornets, the Wizards, and the Nets. Now, the Nets are the worst. I think they're just going to be the worst team. And the Wizards actually have, I think, some talent on their team. So that's why I didn't put them last right there. So I think the Nets clearly are letting it known what they are trying to be. So let's put them where they are trying to be. I think the best team in the East and the worst team in the East were the two easiest things I did on these tiers. The Heat, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they moved up into that, but as of right now, it's just questions about them for me and the injuries and Tyler Hero situation, but they got Norman Powell, who I think is going to be pretty good for them. I think Khalil Ware, that ascension is coming, and I can't wait to watch that this season, and you still got, bam, Adebayo on your squad. Philadelphia, everything you said, like, yes, that's exactly how I felt, and that's how I ended up with them at number 12. The Hornets are probably my favorite team. I just really like what they have, man. K-Dub. I roll with K-Dub, man. I really enjoy watching him play. I like how they're using him as a connector right now with LaMelo out there on the floor, who, if he's healthy, is an all-star. It's already been proven. So I think that they have the ability to be a really fun team, man, and a team that you just might hate to play because they're not going to stop. And that ball movement could be really fun. Defensively, but offensively, I think they could be mad fun to watch, man. So I'm excited to sit and watch some Charlotte Hornet games and also listen to it because, Eric Collins is awesome.
Yeah, in my third tier, I just went with those bottom three. I think they're the clear teams that are tanking. Every other team does not appear to be tanking. And so I just felt like these three kind of had to belong in their own group. I agree the Nets are going to be the worst one intentionally. Yeah. They need to keep their pick. They need to get a great player. They just drafted 5 rookies who are going to struggle to generate good offense, and they're going to lean on them. So I think they'll be the worst team. I think the Wizards have a little bit more talent. They're a little bit more further along in their development. But still a team that's just like not really close to competing. Yeah. And then the Hornets, I also like. They've got some interesting pieces.
They do.
I think Brandon Miller, it's a big year for him.
Yeah, Brandon Miller, yes.
Con Knipple, I really like. LaMelo, obviously, if he stays healthy, he's a very fun player to watch. Can he be more of a serious player? That's a big question. So I felt like the way I grouped it up, it was like the clear top 4, the kind of middle where anybody could land anywhere, and then the clear bottom 3. And that was just how I thought about it.
No, it sounds fair. Sounds very smart, sir.
Should we take a look at Matthews?
Will to go Gottlieb. Let's take a look at main man Matt Peck's tier 3 standings.
So he's lower on the Raptors.
Oh, okay. He is lower on the Raptors there, but having the Sixers at 11, Raptors at 12, Charlotte Hornets at 13, the Nets at 14, and the Wizards at 15. I would love to know his reasoning behind that. We'll have to ask him.
Was it like 20 wins versus 21 wins?
I know, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real, though. But I think the Nets, I don't even know if they see 20 wins. They're not a good team. But
they
that's
Matt's
their
pick
3.
if it falls outside of the top 8. So they need to be a bottom 4 team. Yeah. I'm not worried about them getting there, but that is going to be probably the team that tries the hardest to tank.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. All right. That is our Eastern Conference tiers. How about we move on over to the fun stuff, ladies and gentlemen, the Bulls. Chicago Bulls season award predictions. It's the same thing we did yesterday for the NBA, but we are doing it for the beloved, shout out my man C. Red Fred. So we're going to give our MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Most Improved Player, our Sixth Man of the Year, and our Goon of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start with who we got for MVP.
We start with MVP?
So
all right.
we got to. We started at the top, baby.
Yeah,
got to start with who we're going with MVP. And there it is. And our guy, Matt Peck, has got Modest Buzelis because that is where his heart is right now.
Surprise.
It's all Modest Buzelis for him, man. So I'm not mad at any of that. My MVP, I am going with one Joshua Giddey. I think Giddey is going to have a really awesome year for the Bulls. I really do. I think he's going to ball out. Everything is set up around him for him to succeed. He, as a million times I said on the show, he is the engine of the Bulls offense. Even on a bad night, he puts up numbers. So even if he's struggling, you'll look and you'll be like, oh, he had 18, 9, and 8. Still, he'll put up those kind of numbers on this team, and he will get that time to put that up. And I think he's going to do it on a consistent basis, man. And he's going to really help this team, I think, in that instance right there. So I think it goes how he goes. And Kobe, the only reason I didn't go with that was because of I'm just scared. You know what I mean? Of the health issue. I'm just scared. But I think Josh Giddey is going to be that guy. I really do. I think he'll be the MVP of this Bulls team.
Yeah, my MVP for the Bulls is Josh Giddey.
Oh!
I think the Bulls offense is going to run through Josh Giddey.
Okay.
He's the one that's going to have the ball in his hands. He's going to be the one who is driving the type of offense that the Bulls want to play. Up-tempo, fast-paced, getting the ball off of a rebound and pushing it up the court and being the guy who is being the playmaker. I mean, he's going to be the one running pick and roll. They're trying to get out up the floor quickly. And he's going to be making plays. He's going to be finding shooters. He's going to be collapsing the defense and trying to get to the rim. I hear what Matt is going for with Modest, and I think like
not wrong.
Best case scenario, he's right, is that Modest does step up and become that guy.
Yeah.
But for me, it's still always going to be about how much of the offense does Josh Giddey drive. Him having the ball in his hands, him being the one that really has to make decisions. I just think the nature of the way that he plays, he's going to have to be the Bulls MVP.
Joey C., do you have a Chicago Bulls MVP?
I am in agreement with you guys because this whole thing is geared around Josh Giddey, right? And when we talk about usage rate and the guy that's going to have the ball in his hands and the guy that has the best opportunity to make other players better on a night-to-night basis, it's going to have to be Josh Giddey. And when I think about most valuable player, I'm with Matt Peck that, I think by the end of the year, I think we had this conversation the other day. Who's the best player on the Bulls right now? By the end of this year, it could be Modest Buzelis. But if you took Josh Giddey off of this team right now, I think other players would suffer and their production would suffer right now. So it's up to Josh Giddey to not only run the offense, but run it in an efficient way, make some plays, get to the free throw line a little bit more, and help other guys around him get better. The only way Essengay gets better this year, right, is if Josh Giddey can try and figure out ways to get him the ball, and then he can capitalize, right? Yeah, so yeah. I think Josh Giddey is the good call on the MVP to start.
Think about the Bulls. Think about the Bulls' identity. Everything they want to do is something that Josh Giddey emulates. Boom. And so the offense is going to run through him, and it's going to reflect him as a player. And I think because of that, it has to be him. And if it's not, it's either because somebody like Modest or somebody like Kobe really took a step forward, became an all-star, became someone that you really can look at as an A1 option. And if not, maybe it's because Giddey was able to do that. So I just think it kind of has to be given the nature of the style that the Bulls want to go for.
I agree. Let's move on to Defensive Player of the Year. I have a feeling this one should be a simple one there. Let's see.
Let me see if I can translate this.
Yeah, so seriously, he put that in there, and then we all know, Matt's on the injured list today. Peck isn't at the show, so he didn't clarify who he meant by that. So I'm just writing down what he wrote, and that's how this graphic is going to go.
I think what this means is the Bulls are going to need to rely on opponents missing shots in order to be a good defensive team.
Correct. I completely think that's what he's saying.
He's counting on bricks.
Yes, he's counting on bricks.
He's counting on Brags to build them bricks.
That's it, man. Brick by brick. That's the defense that they're going to have to have.
And honestly, he's not wrong. That was a big piece of how they were able to be successful last year.
That's true.
They gave up a lot of threes, and opponents did not make them at high level, and they're going to have to get lucky, I think, a little bit again.
That is so wonderfully petty. I love it so much. I love it so much.
Who you got, Big Dave?
I got Modest Buzelis, Joey C. So I'm going with Modest Buzelis for Defensive Player of the Year. I already set my goal for him, what I wanted, how many blocks I wanted from that young man. He had 75 in his rookie campaign. I wanted 150 this year, and he showed me already in the preseason that he's going to be about that because he definitely was blocking some shots and deterring some shots a lot. And I think he will be the outside of maybe an Ayo Dosunmu and hopefully Isaac Okoro, that he will be that guy for them on defense. And I think if he is that guy for them on defense, he would, for me, be clearly the best player on defense for them.
My Defensive Player of the Year for the Bulls is Isaac Okoro. Look, I think if Modest Buzelis is that guy, that would be great. But the Bulls, same way that the offensive identity is going to be built around Giddey, I think the defensive identity is going to be built around Isaac Okoro. They brought him in to be that physical perimeter defender, somebody that's going to cut off drives before they happen and make dribble penetration, paint penetration more difficult for opposing teams. I don't think he's going to be able to solve everything on his own because teams can just bring another player into a switch and pick on matchups that way. But I do think that he really emulates the style that the Bulls want to play. I think he is going to be a really physical and active defensive player, and hopefully that's able to have a bigger impact on how the team performs on that end because, like I said, he can't do it by himself.
Joyce?
Defensive Player of the Year, man. This one is tough because I'm leaning towards Matt Peck on this one. Like, can we like also shout out like the concept of space and time, right? Because they're gonna want to run a ton of transition up and down the floor, right?
That would be.
And they're gonna try and just like outrun teams on a play to play
concept of zone,
play to play basis. But I will. You know what? I think Modest Buzelis, I think, is a great call on your part. What we've seen from him in the preseason, active, picking up some blocks.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about chase down and athleticism, he might give you the best shot.
He's the one that showed.
Yeah, to at least create some turnovers and turn them into easy buckets. So on a team that's kind of bereft of defense, I think Buzelis is not a bad call at all.
Yeah, Modest is going to have to be somebody that like cleans up a lot of the mess.
Yes.
His rim protection has been awesome so far, obviously in his rookie year, but also in preseason, the way he's able to slide over and protect the rim. For me, what the Bulls need out of their defense is somebody to take away those drives in the first place at the point of attack, and I think Okoro is really going to have to be the one that takes on that challenge.
Let's move on to most improved player for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen,
I have a
no need for the
feeling
reveal.
that this will be a unanimous sweep. And let's see if my feelings feelings are correct. Unanimous sweep there. He said it. He wants it. He's going to do it. I mean, yes, we all expect him to be great, right?
Yeah, Modest Buzelis is going to have to be the Bulls' most improved player for the health of the long term of the franchise, for himself and the way that he wants to go through his career. Like he called it out on the first day of media day where he said, like, I want to be the most improved player. That's my goal for myself.
Yep.
I think we've already seen huge strides in his game from last year, the way that he's scored in the preseason, the way that he has been able to generate efficient offense in the flow, getting, dunks and runouts in transition, back cutting, hitting open threes, all the simple stuff that's going to help him create a floor of efficient offense. And then can we start to see a little bit more in terms of his ball handling, his ability to create offense for himself, getting into his own pull-up jump shot, getting into some shot creation and facilitation for other teammates. I think all that stuff's going to happen over the course of the year, but we've already seen the foundation of a player that has some real potential there. And I think he's just going to be able to grow and build on what he's already started to. So obviously there's a lot of excitement for Modest. If he's able to be the MVP, the most improved player of the year, I don't know, but I really feel confident that he's going to be the one that takes the biggest step forward for the Bulls.
Yeah, Joey C agrees. Most improved player, Modest.
Oh, 1,000%. I took him in my fantasy draft the other night, maybe around a little bit early, but like, let's be real here. If he gets the minutes and he gets the run, like, we're looking at a guy that might average, hopefully, right, 16, 17, 18. Is that too much to ask?
Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
That's what they need from him.
The sweet spot.
Yeah, he went very early in the diehards fantasy basketball draft as well, as you could probably imagine.
Shout out to all y'all playing along with Will Go Gottlieb in that. Sixth man of the year. I think there might be some differences in this one.
You will be surprised, my friend.
God,
we got three of a kind.
I thought it would be a difference in that.
Three of a
kind.
kind.
We are together. We are a family. That is awesome, man. All right. Ayo Dosunmu, man. I mean, you want to talk about guys who flashed, in the preseason. We just talked about Modest doing it on defense. I mean, my goodness. Who was better than Ayo Dosunmu for the Chicago Bulls in preseason? The man is ready. The man wants to go out there and do his thing. And even after reading Will the Go Gottlieb's new awesome article that all you diehards are going to get and can read right now, and if you're not a diehard, make sure you go ahead and sign up to read this awesome sit-down he had with Ayo Dosunmu. Even reading that just even let me know further that he is so ready for this season, man.
Yeah, I would assume sixth man of the year for the Bulls for sure. I did think about Trey Jones here just because he's been so steady.
You're right.
And he really has been awesome. I actually think he might end up starting some games. Obviously, Kobe's going to be out, and we'll see what kind of a role he steps into. But he's just been somebody that Billy Donovan really trusts. But for me, I would assume has been awesome coming back from this shoulder surgery. He's been efficiently scoring. He's been getting downhill. He's been defending, one of the few real two-way players on the team that can be a positive, defending the point of attack, helping, being like a good scheme defender, but then also grabbing and going, getting rebounds, pushing the break, getting downhill, creating offense, getting into the paint, fouls, and then hitting some open threes. He's going to need to do that at a more consistent level than in years past where the three-point percentage has gone up and down. But I think it's just so hard to take away Ayo from the rotation, and everything that he gives you has just been such a positive for the Bulls. So I think he's going to be a really important piece, and really they keep bringing in guys to take Ayo's position, and he keeps being better than him. So that's what he does, and I expect him to do that again this year.
Yeah, lightning quick thoughts. I think, Big Dave, you nailed it in the preseason that, when the starting five was struggling coming out out of games. Guess what do you want out of your sixth man of the year? Him to make things better the minute he gets on the court. That's exactly what Io's done in the preseason, and he's done it in the past. And they're going to need that energy. If they get off to a rough start, that stabilizer, I think it's Io too.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing to add to that. Let's get to my favorite one, which is Goon of the Year, ladies and gentlemen. Who we think will be Goon
The GOTY Award
of the Year? Who wins the GOTY? Who wins the coveted GOTY Award? Matt Peck is going to start with Dalen Terry. I mean, that's not a wrong pick. You know what I mean? That's a really good pick. He has proven, he has shown he's got that goon in him, ladies and gentlemen. He showed it last year for sure. He got into a fight with Detroit Pistons as well in last year, man. He got into another fight in this preseason already. He is about that scuffle, all right? He is about that life. I don't think that that's a wrong pick, Will, to go Gottlieb.
No, I mean, look, I would have taken him too. I went with somebody else, but I just think it's going to be a minutes thing. And so he's going to get some opportunity with some injuries here, but I think you and I have the same guy.
Yeah, okay, because I went with that man who I've seen be hated on from other people outside of Chicago in a way that I haven't seen in a while, and that is Zach Collins. That dude loves a dust-up. He really enjoys it, all right?
Least favorite player's least favorite player.
I mean, man.
He just wants to taste blood in his mouth, right?
I mean, I went with the same guy. He's got like some nasty to him. Like he just does.
Yes,
he plays
really does.
that way. He's an irritant.
Don't let that hair fool
he's
you.
Physical. He's the kind of guy that the Bulls need if they want to be a physical team, right? You need an enforcer.
Yeah.
And I think he brings that.
Okay, that's going to wrap this up for us, man. Who do you guys think will win the GOTY? I would love to know. I see people saying right there in the comments as well. And let us know what you think about our Eastern Conference tier predictions as well. Thank y'all for joining us, for being here. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, it's going down. Preseason is over. Regular season is here. We're going to have your pregame. We're going to have your postgame right here with CHGO Bulls. I could not be more excited. GOAT will be at the UC. Go Talk Hotline will be in full effect. I can't wait to do this. Bulls basketball. Let's do this. It's Meathead Hours time, ladies and gentlemen. For my man Will to go Gottlieb, main man Joey C on the ones and twos, main man Matt Peck, I am Big Dave.
Bam.
This is CHGO Bulls. We love y'all. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.